The modulation consists of marking a parameter of the carrier habit change is valued according to the variation of the modulating signal, which is the information we want to transmit.
The carrier signal is a sinusoidal oscillation of a particular frequency. Other oscillations are created on the carrier. The composite signal is demodulated in the receiver and the carrier as well as the information placed on it are separated from each other again.
What is modulation? Modulation is the process of converting data into radio waves by adding information to an electronic or optical carrier signal. A carrier signal is one with a steady waveform, constant height or amplitude and frequency. Modulation is usually applied to electromagnetic signals, radio waves, laser optics, and computer networks. Modulation can even be applied to a direct current, which can be treated as a degenerate carrier wave with a fixed amplitude and frequency of 0 Hz, mainly by turning it on and off, using Morse code telegraphy or a digital current loop interface.
The expression for AM wave is AT is called the envelope of AM wave. This envelope consists of the baseband signal xt. Therefore, the modulating or baseband signal may be recovered from an AM wave by detecting the envelope.
Well, I'm going to explain what is an AM modulation and what it does do. An AM modulation is a amplitude modulation that modifies the frequency of this modulation, the amplitude, for being quite specific. This makes changes to the amplitude to carry or get a specific amplitude to get to some signals. Like changing the amplitude of the wave, you can select each or whatever you want of the frequencies to get to from receptor to receiver. And that's why we sometimes in radios or that kind of things we hear AM frequencies or amplitude modulations frequencies that you can modify to get to some point, to get to someone to listen your frequencies. This can be used in radio, like I said, and maybe in some other applications that you may need to use this amplitude modulation modification.
What does the modulator do? It's an electronic circuit that is mainly used to recover the information content from the modulated carrier wave. There are different types of modulation, and so are the modulator. The output signal via a demodulator may describe the sound, images, or binary data. What does a demodulator do? It's an electronic circuit that is mainly used to recover the information content from the modulated carrier wave. There are different types of modulation, and so are the modulator. The output signal via a demodulator may describe the sound, images, or binary data.
An envelope detector is an electrical circuit that was a fixed frequency signal as its input, and the envelope of the input signal as its output. The capacitor is the image circuit store charge when the input signal increases, and very show this charge erode the resistor when in decreases.
There are various ways to measure or detect the amplitude of a waveform. Here we'll consider one of the simplest used by most portable radios, etc., the envelope detector. This essentially uses a half-wave rectifier which charges a capacitor to a voltage. To the peak voltage is the incoming AM waveform. When the input wave's amplitude increases, the capacitor voltage is increased via the rectifying diode. When the input amplitude falls, the capacitor voltage is reduced by being discharged by a bleed resistor. The main advantage with this form of AM demodulator is that it is very simple and cheap. Just a one diode, one capacitor and one resistor. That is why it is used so often.
Now, for the conclusion for all the document we saw, well, to making a recap for what we saw what is modulation, what is a carrier signal, what is modulation signal, what is an envelope AM modulation. We saw all about the AM modifications, about advantages, disadvantages, that kind of things. Was a demodulator and AM modulator. We try to make you understand more easily what is an AM modulation and what does it do. It's important to know that we are going to apply it to a lot of our projects in electronic, because we can solve communication problems, or maybe modulation about information and amplitude and that kind of things that we can apply to our career. This is important because we are learning a lot of things about the AM modulations that we can apply to our projects. And that's it. Thank you for watching our video. I hope the explications are enough clear, and thank you for watching.